Yeah. Are we actually on Twitch? I'm not seeing the
Yeah,
bit
you've
rate.
been sharing everything.
Yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
no. No, I don't give a shit. I just wanted to make sure the bit rate was going, and it is. I'm not wearing my glasses, so it took a little second to focus.
Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and content that some listeners may find offensive, and it's a holiday special because we've all been on holiday and it's the holidays.
I didn't even think of it in that way, and I'm really happy about that.
I thought it was being American when I read the title of this Zoom link. It's holidays, like, yeah, happy holidays.
It's a
I have to do
twofer.
that at work, so it's yeah, it's annoying.
Why? Be
We have to have
inclusive.
we have to use inclusive language.
Good.
We don't even have a Christmas tree. It's called the festive tree. I'm
That
not
is
even fucking
that is
joking.
unfortunate.
I know. All the terminology is careful because you write, oh, Christmas, and then you got to go back and go, winter holidays. It takes emailing so much longer when you're just like smashing out a quick email and then you look back and go, oh, for fuck's sake.
I can see you're wearing your holiday hat too.
Yeah, it's a bit tight. I might have to take it off halfway through this.
It's
It it,
it's a Santa hat.
it is a Santa hat. It's not the same one I wore the other day. It's sort of like a knitted Santa hat, but it's kind of like a beanie with a little puff ball on top. So it doesn't hang down the back of the hat like you would think a
Possibly one
Santa hat would.
underneath as well.
Offensive language, you wanker. Let's get this shit going. Welcome back, one and all, to a special holiday edition of Seesaw Podcast, the show that is like opening a stocking and finding things you actually fucking want. We have all been on holiday. We're going to be going over those wordplay from Cleaves, which tripped us both up, but makes absolute sense. Before we do that, we haven't recorded for a while. Let's do let's do what we're wearing first, and then we'll do a little chickadee check-in. Selina P, what Christmas style pajamas are you rocking?
I am not in Christmas pajamas, but
Boo.
I am in pajamas. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, they're new.
Yeah.
And not Disney.
Wow. I decided to take us into a panto style just there. I don't think I'll do that again. Mr. Ivan Cleaves, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a Christmas jumper. It's a little
No,
knitted blue and green jumper. Got little cups of coffee on it, like little festive patterns.
is coffee Christmas?
And I was just thinking, how is that Christmas?
Cocoa then, whatever.
I
That's
suppose.
still not
Got little snowflakey bits on it, like little
Oh, snowflakes.
stars.
okay.
Okay,
Steaming hot cup of cocoa at Christmas. Lovely, isn't it?
that's fair.
Maybe you should have like mulled wine.
Why would
That's
I have mulled wine? I preferably want one that's in date.
nice.
To be fair, yes.
Great contribution.
I know, I know. I started something and I didn't have a punchline. That's why I have you two.
What you got on tea, other than
So
your hat?
outside of my hat, I'm not really wearing anything festive. I'm wearing a purple Under Armour hoodie,
Hmm.
a t-shirt which I believe is orange or pink or something like that. I can't really tell the color. Um, Blue jeans. And that's basically, I was going to put a Christmas jumper on, but it's still in the wash pile from an excursion I had at the weekend with Cleaves.
This is the man that's had flu, Selena.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very busy.
Flu don't stop me.
Yeah, it's not flu.
Yeah, flu. Right.
Are we gonna do a quick blind news?
You
We
can do it.
can
I
do.
didn't bring any.
I have something, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Selena P.
Well, I've just like we've not done this for so long, and then I just constantly keep I don't know, constantly keep seeing things on social media and thinking, that could have been quick blind news. So I've got two bits. One, apparently Elton John's gone blind, and
What?
two, Chris McCausland has lifted the glitter ball trophy in Strictly Come Dancing.
Hmm. I thought you were going to say can see.
No.
No.
One
No
in,
to
one
that
out.
for
It's a one
Elton
in, one
John.
out club.
Yeah. Okay. No questions. I
Next.
researched those on my own time.
Does that mean that Elton John's stepping into Christmas, but more tentatively than usual?
Well, it's harsh, but I love that. Um, I have sort of quick blind news. Um, the Video Game Awards, national or international Video Game Awards were recently, and the accessibility award went to a side-scrolling game, Prince of Persia, something Crown. I've got it. I can't play it. It's not accessible for the blind. But it did get it in a field where everything else was kind of dog shit, to be honest. Not a great year for accessibility in gaming, unfortunately. But Prince of Persia won.
Not a great
Yeah.
year for research either, considering you couldn't remember the game name.
Yeah.
No, and I fucking own it. I thought, oh, it won accessible game of the year, and then very quickly it's like, what's accessibility for me? It's like various colorblind filters.
Is it
Okay,
more
what about
accessible than The
blind
Witcher 3?
filters? I will not go back to The Witcher 3. Neither of my 18 copies. Thank you, Eric Cleaves.
You're throwing out the Sunday names today, aren't you?
I know, I was thinking that.
Although I have heard for a genuine, like, if people want a game to play over the season, another game at the Game Awards, which was not in that field, is it's a game called Balatro, which is a card game. It's like a poker game where you play hands and you go round by round and stuff like that. It is screen reader accessible. So if you want to play a game over the season, this one won Innovative Game of the Year. And I have played that with a screen reader. It's really fucking good.
Okay.
It's really good. So if you like card puzzle games, go for it because it's really good fun.
What are you playing it on? What console?
It is on everything, but if you want screen reader support, you need to go for the PC version.
Okay, I'm going to tell my look mentee this.
Yeah.
I've got a
Um,
new mentee and they want to know about gaming accessibility.
if that's the case, then they want to play the Veil,
Yeah, send it in a message. So I can
yeah,
forward
I'll send them a message, or refer them to one of our gaming episodes we've done. We have done gaming episodes, so
Yeah, send me the numbers. Thanks.
That's
wow,
thanks, but so flippantly as well.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
I have a question before we get started. Selena, I hear you ran into some genuine fans of the podcast.
I did at a
Ooh,
guide dog fundraising event a few
emphasis
weeks
on the
ago. It
fun.
was a Christmas fair thing, actually. Santa was there. Riley had a photo with Santa. And yeah, it was really nice to meet people that actually listen to our podcast. So yeah.
Are you shouting these people out, or
I didn't gain permission or consent to do such things. So
You
got it?
didn't
Can't
ask their
they
remember who
know
names
they
who
were.
right.
they are.
Didn't ask their names right. Okay.
No, clearly.
You know,
Yes.
they definitely knew my name and your name.
I mean, unless their name was Selina P, you weren't giving a fucking shit, were you?
Gosh, gosh.
Especially when they tell you that you're not their favorite. Did that come up? Who their favorite was? Were they a T, a Cleaves, or a Selena?
I think I was definitely all their favourites because I was their local girl.
Nah, that's bullshit.
No,
That's bullshit. You're not even in 50% of the episodes.
Touche.
they probably didn't start listening until I was on it. To be fair.
Oh, scathing.
Neither did I.
Ah, okay. Right. Shall we move on to the hollandaise that is this episode? We've all been on holiday in recent weeks. We have had various experiences. We're going to talk about what we did, how it was, and the accessibility of said places. I don't know how. I've not spoken to you, Selena, about yours. I've spoken
Hmm.
briefly to Cleaves about his. Um, I was going to suggest a compliment sandwich sort of thing and putting me in the middle. Um, but I don't really think it matters. So who wants to go first?
Well, mine's probably the least exciting.
Then we'll go with you first then.
Okay.
I would say at the end, but then people would skip all of the witty outros that Cleese puts in. They'd be like, oh, Selena's bit. Fucking next, yeah, next podcast.
Rude.
Charming. I did like the end of our final podcast, by the way.
Yeah, we're not going to reference it too much in case it upsets people. But if you haven't heard the last episode, 208, go back to it. And only the diehard fans will know the reference at the end. And I found it hilarious.
It's good. But yeah, I went on holiday, a mini holiday, mini break. It was only 4 nights to Rhodes, and I hadn't been there before.
What, the
Which road?
M1?
What?
We
Oh,
both had
was
the
it?
same shit dad
Oh
joke. Fucking
God.
bastard.
I went to the Greek island Rhodes
Oh, not proper
with
Greece.
what was it that you were claiming was Spain that was not
Oh,
Spain?
that's a very good point.
Go on. How are the roads to nowhere?
It was a very historic place.
So's everywhere. That's how history works.
No, but Greece are like known for proper history, aren't they?
So's
Yeah.
everywhere. That's how history works. But
Nah, but
continue.
they're like,
No.
Apart from
ancient
America.
Greece and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
It is quite a
So
historic place. I remember going, and they've still got like temple-y bits, haven't they, and stuff
milking
like
it,
that
right? Yeah.
on.
Yeah, like if you go into proper Rhodes town, right? If they've still got like all the old walls up, like from the cat, like the city's built within castle walls. It and well, I went to the one of the seven ancient wonders of the world, which is
Not
in
sure you did.
town. Um, well,
It's
we
not
were
there,
all
is it? Thought they were all knocked down by the
but
pyramids.
yeah, okay, it's not down, but where it was or would have been. So we
You
went.
went to a field. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
it was not a field. It was a plinth, I suppose.
What used to stand there? Was it the statue of Alexander?
Yeah, the big statue guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Guy. He just told you the name. Come
Yeah.
on.
The is it called
Oh,
Colossal?
maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I went to that, but I didn't quite realize. I was like, oh, can we ever sit down? I'm getting a bit tired. And we sat down, and then I was like, okay,
Are
I'm
you an
ready to
athlete?
go. It was a lot of walking. I'd climbed up all the walls and everything by this point, by the harbour. It was lovely. It was hot. I had to sit down. I was like, got up. I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to this seventh ancient wonder of the world. And then Santi was like, what, you're sitting on it. I was like, oh, I didn't even know we like. I thought I was just having a rest. So yeah, that was special.
Oh, dearie me.
Did you leave your guy Doug Riley at home or check in with him?
I did. I left him at home, and I don't think Rhodes is a very good place for guide dogs because there's like cats everywhere, like millions of cats.
Oh,
Just yeah, they have like little boxes out like in the streets for cats and stuff, and yeah, there's just a lot of cats.
I hate cats, so yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Well, you don't have they don't come up to you if you don't want them to. But
I
they're
better not.
quite sensible
Bastards.
cats.
Cats suck.
Wow.
Anywho,
What else did you get on to do in Rhodes? How was it
Oh,
anyway?
I play crazy golf.
Right.
oh, how crazy was it?
You know, it was all with Greeky stuff like that you had to navigate.
Feta cheese, olives.
Do you know what was shocking? No halloumi. Can't find
Right.
halloumi.
I hear that that's more Cypriot than Greek, but we will not go in that rabbit hole.
No.
It was a golf hole.
Yeah, we're going to that golf
That was
hole.
disappointing. It was kind of end of season anyway, so like literally the day after we left, our hotel closed down. like for the season.
Was that based off your reviews, or just were they planning to do that?
It was a nice hotel. It was on the beach, Pebble Beach though, but it was on the beach. Um,
Did they give you the respect you deserved, unlike your previous holiday?
it was nicer than my last holiday. Yes, it's better than Japan.
Okay.
I will say that.
I'm making a note about Rhodes now.
Was Rhodes accessible or?
Not like I tried to get around by myself. I was on holiday. Um, something
Holiday from
Touche.
accessibility, independent living. Jesus.
you don't want to be struggling on holiday, do you? You just want to enjoy yourself. It was fine. The roads, pavements, could walk along them, being guided. Um, you know, don't know. I mean, there was a lot of steps in the hotel, though. Actually, there was a lot of steps.
Would a wheelchair be welcome at that hotel?
No, because there wasn't even an accessible toilet in the hotel, which was a bit annoying. But I figured out the ladies, like, instead of having to go back to the room, like, so I went to the same like ladies' toilet. So I knew, yeah, I worked out where everything was. The
Do
first
you?
day I went in, I did take my cane out actually into the toilet because I could tell there were people in there, so I didn't just want to be feeling around. And then when I came out, there was a couple of old English ladies. It's like, excuse me, where's the stink? So yeah, but then yeah, then once you've been in there once, I knew where everything was. I didn't use my cane again.
Do you want to say the name of the hotel, just so any people in a wheelchair listening know that this is not accessible to them?
Do not go to the Avra Beach Resort if you are a wheelchair user. If you're not, go ahead. It's very nice. Good location, near lots of shops and bars, although they're all closed because it was the end of season. Could walk to the Crazy Golf. There was a free shuttle bus into, not free, no, actually, we had to pay for the shuttle bus. There was a shuttle bus into the Crazy Town.
You're just describing a bus.
Yeah. So that was good. But yeah, as I said, I was only there 4 nights.
Oh, well, it does sound quite nice.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not bad if all it was souvlaki was a disabled toilet.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that you had a good holiday.
Yeah. Now I need another one. But I'm sure your guys' holidays are way more exciting than mine. Go on. Who's going next?
T, you wanted to go second?
Okay. Where do I start? Right. I will preface this by saying I don't believe that all Egyptians are pieces of shit. I think the country is rich in history, and I think they're going to have some lovely people, and a lot of people have lovely experiences of Egypt.
Me being one
My
of them.
holiday was
I like
absolute dog shit.
because
Right. Buckle in. I've heard various things about Egypt, especially in the touristy places. You get shaken down for money. It happens elsewhere. I've been other places in the world where it happens. It's dialed up to 11 in Egypt for some fucking reason. I don't know why. But I've been to other places. I've been to other like countries and gone to tourist traps, like in Mexico. I've been to Chichen Itza and all sorts of places, and it wasn't nearly as bad, like at all. So I don't know what it was with Egypt, but you had to get used to saying no. Either, I didn't learn Arabic. Arabic's fucking hard.
can you say no, thank you? So do it with some manners at least.
Arabic is very hard. And to be fair, most of them addressed me in German. So that tells you everything that you need to know about what I look like. Because Guten Tag was often what was thrown in my direction for some reason. So, hotel, very similar to your previous holiday, Selena.
Mm-hmm.
Not a 5 star. They say it is. It absolutely fucking isn't. Like, it was fine. It was fine. And we were just outside Hurghada town centre.
I've been to Hurghada.
Well, we might get onto that after I finish ranting. It absolutely was not 5 star. And you would think so, being a Hilton, being a brand like that they would have certain standards. They didn't. It could have been a Travelodge. in Egypt, if I'm being completely honest. The room was nice, the staff were nice, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, but it wasn't exactly premium, I would say. Now, the hotel was one thing, excursions was another. We wanted to do some excursions. We went to Luxor, went to Valley of the Kings, and all that. That was nice. I will say, not accessible at all. You'll struggle if you're a blinky because the amount of steps and weird steps that are there. Uh, Take care. Please be fucking careful. I nearly went down a few times. If you're in a wheelchair, don't even fucking bother going to Egypt, from what I saw. Like, they don't give a shit. Um, Granted, the hotel wasn't too bad for wheelchair users, but I would maintain don't go to Egypt anyway. They, the disabled culture there, horrible, if I'm being honest. We all complain about the whole people not talking to us as disabled people and talking to people we're with. In Egypt, that was magnified to the point where it was that, but also even when I would respond to something myself, self-advocacy, boys and girls, they would not even acknowledge it until my wife would say. Like you'd go for food, and I'll say, "Oh, I'll have blah 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 blah," and they'd just stand there, and then my wife would be like, "He wants blah 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 blah," and then they'd write it down.
Maybe they couldn't
They,
understand your accent.
well, they can understand my wife's,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, she's a Dorset bumpkin, so maybe that is more translatable. Um, so we had some good situations, we had some bad situations. The me- the people we encountered were very money grubbing, and again, I'm not generalizing the entire country, but they were very money grubbing. It seems like even opening a fucking door, they wanted a couple of quid. And I'm just like, really? The people who there's poverty in Egypt, especially in Cairo, like something like 1 in 6 people live on the street of Cairo. We know we're in Cairo, but those are the people who are in a lot of issues. And I'm sorry, but if you're working in the Hilton and you're wearing a shirt and tie, you're not doing up hard up comparatively for a couple of quid, and you're shaking me down for.
You're probably surprised about how much their wages actually are. I think you're being very, yeah, judgmental
I'm
there.
just
They're probably on like £1 a day. And
okay, that's fine, but it doesn't mean I
just
have to
because they're
pay for
dressed up,
everything.
that's the culture there. Tips.
You don't get tips for doing nothing, Selena.
Okay.
I'll
You
tip a waiter, I'll tip a concierge, that sort of shit. I'll tip housekeeping, that's fine. But I'm sorry, but you just standing by, like literally, someone just stood at the side of the corridor while we were coming down the corridor, and like you think they're just doing a nice thing. And my wife even said after he was holding out his hand for a tip because we moved out the way, and I'm like, what? Really?
Maybe it's
Um,
just a gesture like, you're welcome, sir.
no, no. I did ask my wife. It was a gesture of like, go on through, please. Apparently it very much was not. He expected to have a note put in his hand for literally moving to the side of the corridor, which was a wide corridor, I was told. Like he didn't have to stop. Um, yeah, good times, bad times. I will say the worst thing that happened. We went on a tour of Hurghada. There was like a little tour thingy. All these hotels have a little tour thingy, little kiosk inside the hotel. I got used to bartering up to this point. You got to haggle, got to haggle. So we go to him. We just want to tour around Hurghada, like little private tour. Just me and my wife. We'll go around with a tour guide. I'm like, okay, fine. Negotiate a price. Fine. Tour guides didn't really give a shit when we were on the tour. I asked him questions. He refused to answer me at all. He did not
How
answer
true
my
is that?
questions. He just made a every question I asked him, or he would laugh. But then when my wife asked him something, he would respond every time. And I stopped asking questions after around two. It was around a 3 4 hour tour, and I don't know, hour and a half in, 2 hours, I stopped asking questions because he just would not answer me at all, which made me quite angry. And very clearly, there's a deal between him and this fucking essential oil shop.
Yeah. They've
There
got
always
taste
is
of the mates,
something.
haven't they? Yeah, yeah. You end up in some places.
Hey, you
Yeah.
even watch The Apprentice and people do tours, and they're always, at the end, you get like lumbered in with the gift shop and they make a bit of commish.
Now, I get that. I absolutely do. Our tour to Valley of the Kings, we had that, and it was fine. You know what I mean? I'm not criticizing how tours work, right? We didn't even know this was happening. We got taken to some random, like the car took us to a random fucking essential oil shop. He goes, "Oh, I'll go in there." And we're like, "All right." So we go in there. We get sat on the couch and surrounded by four, five like Egyptian men.
Did
It's
you
like
get any
talking about that.
sugarcane juice?
Oh, I love sugar.
We did have sugarcane juice in the Luxor tour, and that was really fucking nice.
Mm.
And that cost us like 50p. That was a very reasonable price, to be honest. But this oil shop, like they sat us down and was like, we've been going for blah blah blah, what, 7,000 years, all this sort of shit. I'm like, I don't even want any of this fucking shit. I don't want any of it. And they're like, they're really aggressive, like really like pushy about this. And I'm like, no, we don't want any. We don't want any. And then it's just very clear. I just sort of like nudged my wife and just like, we're just got to get something just to get out of here. Just get something cheap. Otherwise, we can't move on with our day. It's fine. So eventually they sort of like, oh, we'll do this and this and this. Fine, whatever. When it comes to payment, we both stand up, and then my wife puts her elbow out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with you. Very quickly, they're like, no, stay there. To me, stay there. I was like, no, it's fine. I'll go with my wife. No, 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 stay there. Like putting their hands on me to sit me down. Take my wife to the till, surrounded by, like, again, the same 4 or 5 Egyptian men, bigger than her. And then when we got out of there, when we got back to the hotel, she's like, they upsold me. But I'm surrounded by all these huge, intimidating men shouting at me, some in Arabic, some in English, pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. It didn't cost a load of money, but it's a lot more money than I would have liked us to have paid. And I don't blame my wife for that situation because by the sound of it, very intimidating. I was put in a situation where I could not help it. It was a very dark shop, very dark. So I couldn't do anything about this. They forcibly made it so that I could not be in that situation, especially considering that I was the one who was essentially negotiating when we were sat at the stupid table, being like, no, we're not paying for this. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Like, I was the one who was very clearly like not prepared to give them money necessarily. And then they took advantage of my blindness. They knew it was dark. I had my long cane with me. They forcibly pushed me like down towards like the chair. I didn't know where she fucking went. And I'm not angry about the money, to be honest. I should be, but I'm angry that the tour took me to a place where they basically victimized me and my wife and put in a very scary situation to sell overpriced fucking products we didn't want. And our tour guide, all he did is stand outside the door, chain smoking the entire time. And you know what? Egypt, you might be lovely. People might have amazing experiences with you. You have a rich culture and history. But from that point, I was fucking done with you. You ruined my fucking holiday. Something that should have been beautiful. I was there for my birthday. It was supposed to be a lovely. Yeah, I'm not the richest guy. I'm not the richest guy. I work hard for my fucking money, so does my wife. We had to pull together to pay for this holiday because we thought we deserved it after 5 years of not having a holiday. And you fucking ruined it. And you know what? Fuck you, Egypt. Like I'm done with it. It was just such victimization of a disabled person. I would never go back. I would also say if you're visually impaired or blind, do not go there because they treat you like shit or they pretend you do not exist and you are a victim. They will exploit you to the ends of the earth. That's what I saw all the week. And then I got fucking Pharaoh's belly and all sorts of shit diseases from them. I was all sick from like the last couple of days in the flight. So we had some good times. I love Valley of the Kings, don't get me wrong. That was great. I'm glad I saw that. We would have gone to Cairo, we would have gone to the pyramids, but frankly, they'd taken all my fucking money at that point. I was not prepared to give them anything else. I was done. So that was my holiday. And that's what I want to put in the middle because I think Cleves had a really good time on his holiday, unless he lied to me at the pub the other day.
How much of that story is exaggerated?
None. I wish it was.
I'm not sure. Based on my personal experience of going to Egypt,
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't have said any of that. Well, no, I would say they are quite pushy, but then
yeah,
they are in a lot of countries.
yeah. It's the culture, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think you can't expect to go to another country and expect them to be British. Do you know what I mean? Like you are paying to go to see a different country. And I've just had two friends that are completely blind, go to Egypt recently by themselves and had a great time.
Mm.
And they couldn't say enough about how helpful they were in the hotel and everything.
But how much did they have to pay for that help?
They didn't. They just booked it like as a normal like holiday, and they went. I thought they were crazy. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm the anomaly. Maybe I am the exception of the rule. But I know historically I can be hyperbolous and stuff like that. But this isn't an exaggeration. It can be corroborated with my wife, not on the show, Cleves. You can chat to my wife. She'll tell you the exact same thing. I'm not exaggerating with this. Literally 3 days in, we want to come home. That's how bad we were feeling. Like we'd been exploited. And it just wasn't a nice experience, to be honest. We really didn't have a good time of it. And now I need a nice holiday to take my mind off of it, where people just leave me the fuck alone. I'd have to get my wallet out every 30 fucking seconds. I just want to read a book in warm weather with a cocktail, and that's all I want to do. And that's what this holiday should have been. And it wasn't. It stressed me out more than anything else, and I just want to go home.
did you
Like
read the reviews of your hotel before you go? You should always read the reviews.
4.8%. No, not 4.8%, 4.8 out of 5 out
TripAdvisor.
of 3,000 reviews, and I've read the bad ones. Um, the hotel was fine. I'm not gonna lie, the hotel was fine. It was more the companies that pay to work out of them, the tour operators, the spa operators, those were the problems. The hotel was fine. I never had any issues with the staff. I honestly didn't. Like the actual hotel people were great. But the people that were renting the spaces in their foyers and stuff like that, that you think are trustworthy and then you use, those were the problems. Because even the spa were dickheads. Like, we went to the spa on my birthday and it was very relaxing and great until they started doing things that we hadn't signed off on. And then you get to the end and they ask you for more money. I'm like, what? I never asked for that. What are you doing? Or why are you trimming my beard? Like, there was a no hairdressing thing in this agreement. What are you doing? But they've already started, so you can't make them stop. I look like a wanker. I ain't got fucking beard clippers on me. So you got to let them do it. And it's like, order, bakshish, 30 British. And I'm just like, 30 fucking British? I already had a haircut before I came. You just started doing it. It's like, fuck you. And it's like, oh, no. 20 then. I'm like, I didn't want to pay anything. It's, that's what pissed me off. That's what pissed me off. The hotel was fine. The hotel was fine. And we did walk around Hurghada a bit, and that was really cool. We saw a boat being made. You know those big catamaran boaty things?
Hmm.
We went to one of those like boat things where they're making it, and we saw all the different stages of it, and it was just such a random thing that we did. No health and safety at all in this boat thing. Like no one's wearing hard hats or like goggles or anything like that. There's nails and sawdust everywhere. But it was amazing. And we saw them. Well, we thought we were going to see them launch one of these boats. The guy's like, "Oh, come here. We're going to launch the boat." And I was like, "Yeah, awesome. Let's see them put it out on the Red Sea." And we walked away because it was like going a centimeter every like 30 seconds where they just like were on these rollers. I just went to the bloke, how long's it going to take, mate? And he's like, 45 minutes. I was like, right, see ya. I'll look, I'll look on the internet. I'm not going to wait for you to launch this fucking boat for 45 minutes. I thought they were going to drop it in the water. But no, it's very slow. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. So that was my Egypt.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Did you enjoy Valley of the Kings?
it was it was good. I did enjoy it. We went up the Nile on a boat as well and ate some bananas, which was odd.
It doesn't sound like a too. You've had some nice times.
I'm not saying we didn't.
We
I'm,
pretty did. We were 3 days in, we wanted to go home, and then I had Pharaoh belly.
This is what I missed.
is that what I sound like? I mean,
You do have a tendency with the negativity sometimes may overshadow the positivity in the situation.
I went there with a very positive attitude. I was looking so forward to it. Like, it's my birthday week. We've been waiting for it for months. I was really up for it. And then I was quashed. We both were. And my wife's super positive, and even she was done after 3 days. And she's super positive. She'll see the good in anything. And even she was done after 3 days. It, yeah, it was one of those things. It was one of those things. I know people go on holiday all the time and they have a shit experience. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we're just unlucky. I can only speak to my experience
Okay.
and take that what you will with a pinch of salt. Selena, as you said, other blinkies have gone there independently and had an amazing time.
Mhm.
And that's great. I'm never going to take that away from them. I'm happy they had an amazing time. I didn't, unfortunately. So, yeah, just do your research, know what you're getting into. But Egypt, yeah,
Egypt.
yeah. Okay, Cleves, let's hear your story about eating the fetus of a duck.
We'll
What?
save it. We'll save that if you like. I'll run through it almost chronologically, if you will. So I have spent 2 weeks, well, about 10 days in Vietnam, about four in Hong Kong. So we flew into Ho Chi Minh or Saigon, dealer's choice. They still use both names once you're over there, but it's technically called Ho Chi Minh. So I'm just going to go through some of the highlights that I did whilst I was over there. Number one in Ho Chi Minh, well, kind of outside. Everything's outside of where you actually stay. We went to the Chu Chi tunnels. So it's like in the jungle, and it's to do with where the Viet Cong used to live, fight during the, well, they call it the American War, but the Vietnam War, whichever you want to use. And you could walk through the tunnels. Well, I say that. They started by showing you the initial tunnels, which were used by the Viet Cong or VC, whatever you want to call them, at the time, and they're fucking small. You cannot, as a Westerner, we were described, they are quite tight. Vietnamese people, especially back in the sort of 50s, were substantially shorter and a lot trimmer than your burger eating Western white person. Just the way it was. So
I mean, is that
even,
why America lost the war? They just
well,
couldn't get in the
maybe
tunnels.
they just couldn't get in, yeah.
Tunnel.
But they were tight. Even a friend of mine is, well, the joke is that he's quite short, but even he had, it was
Oh,
tight for
Tiny
him.
Riley,
Yeah.
who's commented on our streams before.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh, it was tight for him. But then we had a walk around the Cheetah tunnels. They show you a lot of the traps that we used there. Spikes covered by like camouflage and stuff like that. So when you fall on them, you got bamboo spikes going in you, and
And poo.
they used to cover them in like animal defecation, so that even if you got out alive, the wounds would get infected. There'd be stuff that's dropping on you from large heights, like Vietnamese houses used to have like traps on the doors sometimes that you get like darted or spiked as you open them. So they showed you those sorts of things. Showed you with the bunkers where you were cooking, and then they have towards the end the some of the VC tunnels, but they've widened them for Westerners, so you can still go through. So I went through with some of my friends, and I tell you what, it was warm, and I could sort of squat down and sort of shuffle through, like on my haunches, squatted down, and it was so warm. It was unreal. Like you were dying in there. But you imagine if they were much smaller at the time, and maybe you're in your army gear, you're dragging guns, you're potentially dragging wounded people behind you. It's insane. And they used to have props of bamboo that they would shove in from the top into the tunnels to create air holes for them. And should they get like clogged up with soil and stuff, you're struggling to breathe down there. But it was war, and people did what they did, to win. And I would argue that a lot of people would argue probably that the VC probably did win, whether it was a win or a loss, whatever. Um, but yeah, it was tight. And I came out of there and I was sweating buckets. It was nuts. And that was just me in my like, shorts and t-shirt, basically. Oh, I fired an AK-47 as well. Fired off a few rounds on that. You could also fire an M16 if you want to.
You shot a lot of guns in your life already.
Yeah, well, take these opportunities, don't you? I probably should have shot the M16 as well, but yeah, well. So that was one of the highlights from Ho Chi Minh. Oh, on that one as well, we were also taken to a tourist destination where you walked around a shop where stuff was made by eggshells and people followed you around and were like, do you want to buy this? And we were like, no. Um, you find that on most tours over there. After that, we sort of moved around for a bit. We went to a beach resort for a while. Then we went to a place called Hoi An, bit more traditional in its sort of outlook. We did go on a tour where we went to one of the mountains where they have loads of like Buddhist statues. Got the largest Lady Buddha in Vietnam, only exists in Vietnam and one other country, I think, but it's not one of the things that China have. And then we went to an installation called Buddhist Hell, and it was like a huge cave, and they told you all about like Buddhist Hell. And effectively, everyone's going to Buddhist hell. Even if you live like the best life ever, you might have accidentally stood on a few ants. So when you go to hell, those ants can turn up and you'll have to justify why you killed them to the ants. And then often, like, it depends on what you've done in your life, depends on to what level of Buddhist hell you go to. I think there's 18 levels. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me.
Fucking hell.
But murder is pretty up there. I think the worst one was disrespecting your mother and father. That'll get you down
Over
to like,
murder.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a long time ago, isn't it? So
Mm.
like, it will put you right at the bottom, like level 18 of hell. Um,
Oh, I'm
having
definitely going
more,
to 18 level of Buddha cell.
you can have more than one wife. But that will also get you into hell. And if you are one of the wives, it will also get you to a lower level of hell than the man that has those wives.
Gosh.
Sorry, ladies. Yep.
Yeah.
You better believe that all of this is really like chauvinistic. Um, One of them was like wasting food. If you waste food, you'll go to a certain level of hell. And they all have like torturous things that will happen to you. Like if you waste food, then on this level of hell, you can eat food, but it will absolutely incinerate your insides every time you do. That sort of thing. If you steal, you'll be like nailed to the floor, so you can't steal anything again. And if you manage to get out, a tiger will eat you. That kind of thing. So they tell you about these levels of hell, and then in this cave, you sort of go through narrow corridors and you go down these like sort of, well, varying degrees of steps. Some were steep, some weren't, into the depths of this cave. And on like each level, you see some of the, well, there's like little pictures and carvings and things like that as you went down, like the levels of hell, and it sort of bottomed off a little bit, and then you start to go back up again. And then it just sort of stopped. And as it turned out, the people that were making this installation died by rock slide. They did. So it never actually got finished. It never got done to the 18 levels of hell. I think we got to about 12 or maybe 14. And then you have to turn around and go back out the way you came. Well, it was interesting. It was really good. So that was one of the interesting tours. And in Hoi An, oh, actually, on that tour, Hoi An's where I ate the weirdest food, probably. Up until that point, I've probably only eaten like bowls of squid where like the tentacles are hanging over the side and things like that. And then in Hoi An, on this tour, after you'd been to Buddhist Hell, you we went to a restaurant and they asked you what kind of noodles you wanted. And I said, I'll take the frog noodles, please. So you get a little bowl of frogs.
God. Were they alive?
No, they weren't alive. They were dead, but they were visibly frogs.
Okay.
And yeah, you sort of peel the frog, peel the
Oh,
meat off the frog legs and the
oh,
body. There's not a lot of meat on a frog body. It's mainly the legs, I'm not gonna lie. Then you chuck the frog carcasses back in the bowl, and then you enjoy your noodles.
oh my God.
It's
Ugh.
pretty delicious actually. Once you got there's not a lot of meat on a frog, but the meat that you do get, pretty good. Kind of tastes like chicken. I don't know if they'd seasoned it, but kind of had a bit of spice to it. I quite enjoyed it. Later that evening in Hoi An, we went on a little boat ride down the river. They have like loads of those sort of what I describe as Chinese lanterns, like coloured lanterns, and they just have tons and tons of boats like all decked out in these lanterns. So we went for a river ride on one of those. Then we also went to this restaurant where I ate something, as Tia alluded to earlier. It was a duck fetus. It was called a balu, and you order it, and it is effectively you get an egg, and the person opened the egg for me, and inside, little duck fetus.
Oh my God.
So I can tell you that the top of it tasted a little bit like both yolk and chicken together,
Oh my
and
God.
then you really do spoon out the body, and
Oh.
Warning to anyone listening now. Cleaves,
Oh.
continue, skip a minute ahead if you do not want to hear this. I heard it the other day.
How do I do this?
it was
You can't.
chewy.
You're, you're a host. You can't avoid the truth. You're a
Ah.
journalist.
Yeah, well, and it came from part of the menu that was called Weird and Wonderful, and I looked at that and thought I could probably stomach that. So I gave it a bash. Yeah, the first part was actually pretty delicious. Like I say, it's like eating an egg and eating chicken at the same time. Nothing out of the ordinary. And then yeah, it gets, dare I say, like lumpier as you go down. And the last spoonful was quite a large one, and it's definitely chewier. Someone described it to me as veinier. It's got the beginnings of some bones and muscle tissue and things like that there. You chew it all up and down it goes. Duck fetus.
Wow.
I mean, I heard this the other night and it made me feel sick.
Yeah.
The
That's because
the
you had flu, wasn't it, too?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
the friends that I were with did say it's probably better that you can't see it as well as everyone else.
That's not a good thing to say.
Uh,
But yeah, that was Hoi An. Then we moved on to Hanoi. Sounds similar, really not. Ex capital city of Vietnam. We went on one of these day trips. It was out to a place called Ninh Binh. We saw a bit of the historical uh, Vietnam. They actually shot King Kong 2 there, Skull Island. Anyway, that
No one saw
was
it. Doesn't matter.
exactly, yeah. Jack Black doing his thing.
For the gooey.
Exactly, yeah. But with monkeys, I guess. Or apes. I don't know what King Kong was. Whatever.
Ape.
Anyway,
It's an ape.
fine. Did that. Then we walked up this really high, like, viewing platform, 500 steps of absolutely unequal sizes.
I like climbing things like that. Like
It
if I'm
was
going, I enjoy that kind of thing.
it was difficult. It
Mm.
was yeah. It was tricky for me definitely. But we got to start, got back down, and then we went on a boat ride, and the boats only held like three people, and it was rowed by a Vietnamese person, but they rowed using their feet
Oh,
Oh,
on the oars, and then you sort of went down this picturesque, oh, I can't say it, river,
picturesque.
picturesque river, under some like caves that had also grown over the river. Not grown over, but I guess the river had washed it out through erosion.
Eroded.
Eroded, yes, that was the one I was looking for. And it was sort of sort of jungly either side, but we kept making jokes that it was like Jurassic Park, and every time we came out of the caves, everyone's going na 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 na.
I
So that was
mean,
quite
they'll get
nice.
old after once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Imagine it like four times.
I
That's
love that
what
film.
people enjoy in their holiday too. Like,
I wish I was there. If I could have afforded to go to Vietnam, this would be a T and Cleaves went to Vietnam episode. I absolutely could not afford that.
Yeah, it was. No, no, the boat trip was good. To be fair, we stopped off, had a bit of food, had some like goat rolls, had some traditional Vietnamese food.
Oh, I love a goat roll.
things you eat. Oh my God.
A lot of traditional Vietnamese food is like noodles and meat, but
Yeah. I
so
mean,
we
if
had some
you're a
of that.
vegan slash veggie slash pescatarian, avoid, avoid. Apparently, Vietnam and Turkey, we need to get a map and put it on the website of all the places a vegan shouldn't eat or a pescatarian shouldn't eat.
We had a vegetarian with us, and she did struggle a little bit at points.
Mm.
But then anyway, after the boat ride, we went on the back of Vespers, like scooters.
Meep meep.
Yep. So all of us got an individual driver. I actually had the tour guide on mine, but it was awesome. So went on the back of a Vespa, went around some of the more agricultural parts of Vietnam. We looked at the rice paddies. We went through a bit more like jungly stuff. There was a part where you started going through, I don't know how to describe it, not like foresty areas, but like on either side there was like plants and stuff, and they were like whipping at your legs and your feet and stuff as you were going past. And then towards the end, we went by like through this really like tight city area that reminded me of like sort of GTA, just riding on like the back of a Vespa. Like it was awesome. It was one of the best parts of the holiday. And just seeing all your friends there in these really crappy helmets that aren't going to save your life if you ever fell off.
Oh, oh,
Just driving by, it was so awesome. And then after Hanoi, oh, actually, we went to Train Street as well. Like literally in Hanoi, there's a street where you basically sit, well, about half a meter away from the train tracks. And then when the train comes, all the bars and stuff move the tables back. And then a train just comes right through the middle of the street.
oh my God.
So
Wow.
that's pretty insane.
That's
Uh,
cool. I like that.
yeah. Then we went to Hong Kong, flew to Hong Kong. Hong Kong's more westernized. It's kind of like
Mm.
London, really. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it was owned by England for,
Long
well,
time.
A
till
long
quite
time.
recently. Yeah.
They're getting given back, aren't they, to China? Santi went to Hong Kong last year.
Don't tell China that.
Oh, China got it back. They
Yeah, they're
got given
getting,
it back a few years back, but
yeah.
not actually that long ago.
Yeah, 2027, but there's still accords to be made.
Mm.
Mm. So we
We'll
went
see what
there.
happens.
It was pretty Western. We went over to Macau for the day, caught the ferry because
I
Macau
didn't
was.
actually ask you about Macau, but
So
Macau is Portuguese Vegas.
yeah, I didn't really. Macau was fine. Here's the problem. I took like 100 quid out, thinking, I'll lose my 100 quid or however many Hong Kong dollars it was, because they still use that currency over there.
On collars.
Sure. Anyway, I start gambling, and the woman comes around. She says, "Oh, do you want anything to drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, beer." She's like, "We don't serve beer." I'm like, "What?" The one thing about Vegas is they lubricate your losses. So you don't
Mm,
really care that you're losing X amount over time because you're getting free beers in the process. And
yeah.
it sort of softens the blow. When no one's giving you that, it's very you become very aware that you've just lost 50 quid in 30 minutes. If not, I'll be honest, in the first hotel, I
30
think it was less than that.
minutes.
Yeah, I
Come
think it was less
on.
than that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Probably more closer to 15.
15
Yeah.
minutes.
Yup, yup, yup.
It will be generous, mate. I've seen those slot machines from earlier in the year. Oh, they do not hold back.
Yeah. So that wasn't great. And then we moved around to some, like, because it's in sort of different islands, Macau. So we moved to a different island, went to a few different hotels. I lost less or slash won a little bit more to keep me gambling for longer, should I say. That was okay. And then, it was fine. It just wasn't Vegas. We were expecting it to be a bit more Vegasy, and it
Hmm.
wasn't. It was nice. They had some all right hotels there and stuff, but I need to be getting drunk to gamble. because otherwise it's really painful. Like the acute knowledge of how much you're losing is just I don't want to know about it. Also, if you're getting beers at the same time, it's kind of like offsets the cost somewhat, especially in the likes of Vegas or
Yeah.
Hong Kong. Hong Kong's really expensive anyway.
Mm.
Macau's not that much different. If you're paying £10 a pint, if you can give me a beer and I'm only losing 50, well, I've only lost 40 then, Anna. And I'm starting to
Yeah.
get drunk in the process, so I might spend even more. Who knows? But
I mean, that was the thing in Vegas. Like the first night we were there, I must have gone through 50, 60 quid. But at the same time, I had six drinks, and like elsewhere, just down the road, that's like $8 each. I'm like,
exactly.
I've kind of broken even. Realistically, if I was to just go and have some drinks somewhere else, I mean, if you don't drink, it means nothing. But yeah, why are you going to Vegas? It's Sin City. Get some sin in you.
Exactly. And Macau just wasn't like that, unfortunately. So it was fine. It was okay. I can say I've been to Macau, I guess.
Mhm.
But it was fine. We did it in Hong Kong. We did the sky trams. We did there's like a funicular up. There's like Hong Kong has really high parts, so we did like a funicular up a mountain. Also a cable car up a mountain. There's like a Buddha in the sky Buddha, I think it's called. Um, we went to like a smuggler's bar where people staple currency to the wall. So we did that with a um, little note on it from us. And yeah, that was by and large it.
Sounds
If
good.
I'm, it
Oh.
was, it, honestly, it was insanely good. What I will say is, I don't feel like I need to go to Vietnam
Never again.
necessarily ever again. And possibly the same with Hong Kong. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it immensely, but I feel like I've done it now. In terms of accessibility, Vietnam, terrible.
Mm.
I think the word rickety, well, I can't even tell you how many times that word was used to describe the pavements by my friends. Or, like, honestly, I can't thank them enough because without them, I would have been pretty fucked. The pavements in pretty much all of Vietnam, actually, I would describe as narrow. The aforementioned rickety, and the problem is as well with those narrow rickety pavements is they are just full of scooters or Vespers, whatever you want to call them. They are
yeah.
just piled up everywhere, and if there's not Vespers, there's just tap from people's shops, which means you either have to dodge it or you have to walk at the side of the road, which is fine, except the roads are fucking mental. All they are literally full of Vespers. Um, they don't really have many traffic lights. It's very rare that you'll come across them. And the zebra crossings are largely decorative. I'm pretty sure they're just there for Westerners. In fact, one of the tour guys literally said to me that he didn't know what they were till he was about 20. Um, and all you do in Vietnam is you wait for a bit of a lull in the bigger traffic. So providing there's no like minibuses or lorries or whatever come in, then you just sort of walk out in the road and all the Vespers will go around you. So will the cars to an extent. You
Oh
just
my
you just
God.
walk. So you imagine
Oh.
swinging a cane on in that
Take a Vesper out.
nuts.
How did they react to your cane, by the way?
I didn't really have it out because where am I going to swing it? I was going to hit something every 2 seconds. If it ain't
Mm.
like Vespers on the pavement or tat, then it's going to be Vespers in the road. So it was almost pointless me having it most of the time. What I will say is the sort of culture in Vietnam means that they are sort of expecting people to walk in the middle of the road. So they're
Mm.
beeping constantly, but it's more to say like, "Hi, I'm here, just watch out," as opposed to "Get out of the fucking way."
Can I very briefly speak of a driving thing that happened in Egypt, which I thought was fascinating?
Go on.
Driving back from Luxor, it was at night through the desert. Turns out Egypt has a lot of fucking desert. There was no like lights that you would expect on a motorway at all. The solution that they had on this motorway going through the desert is the car in front of you has their hazard perception lights on, trusting the car in front of them to have their hazard perception lights on, and they would use their indicators to tell the car behind which way the road was going.
like that. Teamwork.
It
Yeah,
is
makes the dream
teamwork.
work.
And then I spoke to the driver. I was like, "Does it ever go wrong?" He's like, "Yeah, sometimes some idiot puts the wrong indicator on, and we all end up in the fucking desert." So it's like that's amazing, but there's a fatal flaw to your system.
Yeah. To be fair, like Vietnam, a lot of the traffic crawls, but it constantly crawls. So it's
Mm,
not like you ever. I mean, sometimes it does stop because they're very tight streets, but there's a reason everyone has a Vespa to get in and out of things.
mm.
On the one that I went on the back of, the tour guy said to me, "Yeah, I've been riding since I was about 12." And the
That's
amount
probably a
of
lie. Probably
the,
eight.
Probably, yeah. The amount of stuff that you see on the back of them. We saw five people on one Vespa at one point. You'll see carpets on the back. You'll see bird
Yeah,
cages
that
with
sounds
like
like Sri
live
Lanka.
animals.
Like
India,
really
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's crazy. Hong Kong wasn't so bad. Central Hong Kong, the pavements are still quite narrow, but they're much flatter. They have a lot of it's quite hilly, but rather than just have rampy pavements, they tend to put steps in for some reason, which is a bit annoying. But they have a lot of like overhead walkways and things like that. So I imagine if you lived there and you were blind and you knew where the steps were and things like that, probably pretty accessible. And like when you get to Kowloon and places like that within Hong Kong, it's the pavements are much wider. So I'd say that was all right, accessibility wise. But I, if I went back to Vietnam with just myself or with someone else blind, it would be a struggle.
Mm.
Mm.
I need to get my phone charger. 2 minutes. On that note, pause. Pause.
I thought she was really bored.
Yeah, it's like I'm done now. I forgot how bad these podcasts just are.
The thing is, we are seriously underestimating how much people care about other people's holidays. Because I'm the sort of guy who nods when I meet a family member. Like, oh, I went to blah blah blah.
But we've got the
Mm.
accessibility part of, you know,
Yeah,
other countries. We're
yeah, that
offering something at the end of the day
that's true. And we'll round that out here at the end of.
without Selena.
No, I'm here.
No, we're
Really?
waiting for Selena.
Wait.
Waiting for Selena. Instead of having her head in her hands in boredom, she's going to get her phone charger,
I
which she
didn't
should
know
have
we were
done
going to
before
be
we
so long.
recorded.
I thought these episodes used to be 30 minutes long, honestly.
They will be, two of them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hmm.
they're three
Okay.
different countries and the accessibilities of them.
Okay.
I love this kind of stuff. I love like hearing about, I like Race Across the World. Like I'm well into that show just to go to the different countries and see what they're like. I wish I traveled more.
Oh, well, tell Santi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just travels without me.
Oh,
Yeah.
rude.
He's off to Australia next week.
Well,
Oh, sorry, no,
maybe
Sydney, Tasmania, then Melbourne, and I'm here.
maybe you should just be a dependent woman who's married and getting all the benefits money and then just traveling with him.
That works.
I like, I no. I don't
Oh,
want,
I'm sorry.
I don't want to be that person.
You want to be independent and have your own identity and actually contribute to society. How dare you, Selena?
No, what can I say?
Why aren't you just a plus one? God. Okay.
Wow.
Right.
Happy festive holidays, everyone.
Right. Let's do
What?
let's do a holiday roundup at the end here.
Okay.
Selena,
Yeah.
out of five, accessibility wise, where does a Rhodes sit?
Well, I didn't really pay attention to the accessibility. I was just enjoying my
That's
holiday.
the show. That is
I
the show after 4 years.
didn't know I was going on like I didn't make a list or anything. So I don't know. It's probably
I'm
like
checking
three out
mine
of five.
twice.
Three. Okay. What was yours, T?
A generous two.
I mean, accessibility wise, probably a two for me. You struggle by yourself with other people. It was tricky, but fine. Like I say, I can't really thank my friends enough for everything they did for me whilst I was over there. So there is that.
Hmm.
Apparently, Cadbury's is a good way of showing you care. Well, that's what the adverts tell me.
So it's a nice free thank you.
Yep, that's true. So thank you one and all for joining us on Twitch for this episode. If you're listening in the conventional ways, we will be back down the line. There are other things in the works, potentially. We don't know when we're going to be back or what's going to be looking at. I've got some reviews I've actually started like recording.
Are they going to be positive reviews? Because I just don't want to listen to the.
What do you think, Selina?
Oh, I'm just like, do you know, we complain about disabled people moaning, and if that's what your reviews are going to be, I'm not sure I can listen. If
I
you're
will
just
tell
going to
you.
be like all the other disabled.
I will tell you, I have a positive review coming up about the all-terrain cane. I have a very positive review, although I have just received my second one from the ONIB. The first one broke. It's just a manufacturer's fault. But the ONIB were on that. Apart from the fact they wanted me to pay to send it back. So we'll see about that.
That's cause for the blind, mate.
Yeah. Well, if you have been on holiday, dear listener, why do you not send us your experience? Emphasis on the accessibility. We'd love to put a little map together where people should be going. As always, you can catch us on the following links. We'll be back whenever we've got stuff going on, I guess. Maybe
Quite
more
a lot
holidays.
going on. Good life.
Yeah. But I mean there'll be something in the new year. And keep an eye on the social media stuff. In the meantime, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Quanza, Happy Hanaka, all this stuff. See previous years for more of those religions and cultural sides of things. We will chat to you later.
2025.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening to Seesaw Podcast. Your feedback and comments mean a lot to us, so if you'd like to get in touch, you can do so in the following ways.
You can find us on X at Seesaw Pod, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Seesaw Podcast. You can email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com and you can stream with us live every week on Twitch at Seesaw Podcast.
Remember to like, rate, review and share with a friend.
This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.